Hi and welcome to Rory's Recipes. Today I'm going to teach you a sweet red pepper curry based on a recipe by Mala Jaffrey. And using this session we're going to try and teach you three basic skills. Making some basic curry paste, which you can apply to other curry recipes using your own ingredients. Learning some dry frying techniques on spices, and also learning some basic knife skills. All these objectives hopefully should be covered throughout the session. And follow our online guide to help you on your way. Okay, so to start with, we'll just whiz through some of the ingredients we've got today. We've got some whole spices here, turmeric here, and then chili, coriander, cumin, and whole cardamom pods. We've got some flaked almonds to add bulk, as the pepper. These are things that are quite optional and variable in different curries. Often pepper will be substituted for tomato, and that's something you can play around with yourself. Something that will stay the same though in a lot of different curries is onion, ginger and garlic. They're a sort of holy trinity, like onion, celery and carrot is to French cooking. We've got some salt and pepper, we've got our chicken as our meat today, and we've also got a lemon and some rice. The rice we're just going to boil later just for simplicity. We'll have a more detailed rice recipe on the site later on. So next we want to start assembling the ingredients for the paste. We'll start by chopping the onion, pepper and ginger. The onion we chop the head off. We chop in half. We quickly peel. We can then use a three-finger technique on the onion to cut it first longitudinally. So we use two fingers here to pin it in place. Use our longest finger as a buffer against the knife, and then use our second and fourth finger just to guide us along. And then we want to make nice even cuts along the onion longitudinally, and then cut across it latitudinally using the same three-fingered brace and two-fingered pinning technique. So again, we roughly chop around a thumb-sized chunk of ginger and add it as part of our trinity of garlic, ginger and onion as the base. So once peeled, again we use the same three-finger technique, scoring down the ginger. This only has to be rough as it's going into the food processor anyway, and then we just finally the garlic, which you break open. Take out 4 cloves. And do each one in turn. Top, tail, flat the knife, hand, crush, and the skin should hopefully nice and easily fall away. These again we can very roughly chop and add in. We now move on to our pepper, which we cut and de-seed and then clean out the middle. There's no real trick to this. So, having deseeded, we coarsely chop add in, and do the same as with the pepper. After our pepper, we also add a few heaped tablespoons of flaked almonds, which I like to just chop up first. This provides a bit more bulk. So just roughly chopping, no regard for knife skills at all. So we now have our base of onion, ginger and garlic. And we've added the pepper, which is a secondary base. We now move on to the spices. So we're going to quickly add a teaspoon of turmeric. So we add a quick teaspoon of turmeric. And we need to move on to dry frying our whole spices. So now we add our whole spices. We want to dry fry them in a pan on a very low heat. The aim of this should be that you can move them around with your bare hands and it be just cool enough that you can touch them. So our spices are now fried and added to the mortar and pestle. All we need to do is crush them up. And now that we've released the sweet aromatic flavours, we just add them in. And now we have all our ingredients, we can just blend. So we now have a relatively thick, wonderfully fragrant paste on which to base our curry. So we can now just chuck all of our paste and start frying it off on a nice medium heat for about 10 minutes or so. So we just move it around on a low heat, careful not to burn it, and you can smell the fragrances coming out of it, and you know already you're on to a winner. So we now want to prepare our chicken thighs. We're going to do this in a couple of steps. Remove the skin, identify the bone, and then remove the chicken from around the bone. So start with the skin. Should come off relatively easily. Take off any last little bits of fat you might find. Next, we identify the bone. You can see it here, nice and visible. It's less visible here. So we'll cut away from the visible end and just try and expose this bit of the bone a bit more. Then moving it around, just free that bone from the chicken and then make some small scoring motions, keeping away from your fingers as much as possible. Finally, we should free the bone. Take away the unnecessary bits and then just cut into small thumb-sized chunks. Okay, so now our sauce is moved along nicely. We need to add the rest of our ingredients. So we get rid of the rest of the chicken into the pan. Or all of the chicken into the pan. You want to add a generous bit of salt to your taste, depending on how comfortable you are with pepper. Being careful not to contaminate our clean board. We can add juice of half a lemon, so just roll the lemon to get the juices flowing. Cut it in half with a clean knife. And the acid should help break down the onion, as should the salt, and also help break down some of the starch and sweeten the sauce a bit. We can now just brown off the chicken we've got in the pan quickly. Not brown it, just seal it before we add some water, and then we'll cover this and leave it 25 minutes. The key for adding water is to add a small cupful and a bit at a time. You can add more water if you need it, but you can't take it away. So now most of our chicken is sealed. We can take it off the high boil it's on. I think the water level is about right, so I'm not going to add any more. And I'll move it down to a low simmer and I'll cover it. So now that we've got it covered, we can leave it for about 20-25 minutes and turn our attention to our rice. So now that the curry's nearly ready, you can just chuck on some 10-minute rice, half a cup per person, small amount of salt. Leave it on for about 5 minutes, and then I personally like to add some peas after 5 minutes, and then we take it off and rest it. In the final minutes, we can have a quick look at the consistency of our curry. See if it needs any more water. To be honest, mine's pretty much okay, so I'm not going to be adding any water, but again, you can always add small amounts of water if you think it needs it. If anything, I might take the lid off for a bit and just get rid of the last little bits of water that are left. The rice has had its 10 minutes, so now we can just take it off and drain it. Personally, I like to fluff the rice up. And then cover it and just let it steam for 5 minutes, just to get it a bit more fluffy. So there we have it, our sweet pepper curry with peas and rice. It's a quick 45 minutes to an hour meal. And if you look at the bottom of the webpage, hopefully there should be a link for some more complex rice you can put with it. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. I'm looking forward to eating it. Hopefully you've learned some knife skills, hopefully you've learned something about the basis of making curry paste, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about spices. I'd encourage you to try this with different meats, maybe using different spices or different proportions. Try lamb, try using cinnamon. There's a lot of variation, and hopefully you can use it as a base and have a play and be creative with food. That's what it's all about, and hopefully that's what this resource will help you achieve. Cheers.